everyone. I feel like all I need right now is some purple eyeshadow, or maybe pink. I think pink would actually be the best. Well, I don't have the Tumblr quote of the day and I'm kind of too lazy to go look for it, so excuse me for that. You guys will survive without it, so... Anyways, I want to talk about something that's been I've been kind of wanting to video this, but I feel like I should come up or with some better points or have it somewhat organized. But unlike, in most of my videos, actually all of my videos, I've never really planned what I want to say, never had it in bullet points unless if it was like talking about my bucket list or something like that. But as my video about my suicide attempt has been growing, it hit 100,000 views, and also the video reading my suicide letter has gotten a lot more views. Obviously, most of my comments are like, hey, you're beautiful, you're great, I really hope you're okay, I'm sending you positive vibes, and they're all like really, really sweet. And then there's like a small handful that really doesn't get to me, but because I've been getting so many more views, that just means so much more hate. And it's not hate, it's more like stupidity, honestly. But it's just like, okay, the comment that gets me the most is, you cannot be sad because you're privileged. And first of all, like, where is the logic in that? Because, alright, what I usually say is, how can you disregard someone's sadness because other people are sadder? Not sadder, sadder's not a word, are having it worse, because a lot of them are like, there are people in Africa dying of starvation and you have food on the table. And first of all, those are two completely different worlds. Of course, I understand that there are people out there that have it way worse than me, and I understand that there are people out there who have it way better than me. But how can you disregard someone's sadness because other people are more sad or having it in a worse situation than you are? That is honestly really, really stupid and really, really ignorant. Switch the table around. How can you be happy if other people are happy, or so many people have it better than you, so you're not allowed to be happy? Like, where is the logic in that? That's actually really, really stupid. And second of all, yeah, I am privileged. I live in a house, well, not a house, I live in an apartment. My parents paid for my school. I was in private schools. I have an iPad, and I have an iPhone, I have a MacBook. I have a room, I have electricity, I have water, I have food on the table, I have food in the fridge, I have money to buy food. Yes, I appreciate all that. People who say that usually don't get me. I'm the most appreciative person there is. I appreciate a lot of things. And people, when I say that, they're like, well, if you appreciate a lot of things, why did you attempt suicide? Why did you attempt suicide? And I'm like, but when you're suicidal, these things don't come into your head. Depression is inside your head. It's your brain chemistry. There's science behind it. It's not, I choose to be sad. And when people think that we choose to be sad is actually really, really stupid, because, depression can be found in animals, and people who have everything they want. Do you think they're happy? Do you hear stories of, celebrities falling into depression and people don't really question them, So it kind of bothers me, actually, because I can't believe that people really think this way. And like I remember the moment where I'm kind of running out of battery, so it might die any minute, but stand by me, okay? But I remember the moment where I used to think like that. I used to be young and I was stupid and I used to think like that. I was actually, the moment I had the realization being like, I shouldn't think like that, was when I got kicked out of my house and I was staying at my good friend's house at the time. And she was crying because she was moving into a new apartment, and she was having a tantrum because her room was going to be smaller. Slightly smaller, by the way. And she was screaming at her parents. She was yelling at them, saying, oh, my mattress isn't even going to fit on the floor. How are my friends going to sleep over? And meanwhile, while she's having a tantrum, with her parents, I remember I just woke up. I went on her computer, and I started looking for apartments that I could live in. I found apartments that were 8,000 NT. You get a small little room, a good place, and I was ready. I was ready to move somewhere, and I was, 17 at the time. I was still in school. What the fuck was I what 17-year-old had to go through that shit, you know? And I was crying while I was on the computer because I'm messaging the lady who, like, the broker, and I'm crying because I'm like, I can't fucking believe I have to go through this. And in the other room, she's crying because she's moving to a smaller house where her room's gonna be smaller. Two different worlds. And I said to myself, our sadness is equal. Sadness is something that we share, you know? Sadness is something we have mutual. I shouldn't disregard her sadness and say, hey, she shouldn't be sad. What the fuck's wrong with you? You know, I didn't say that, but I shouldn't think that way because she's sad. It's just two different worlds, two different situations. And when did it become a competition? When did it become a competition? And honestly, to those comments that I get, I don't even need to reply to those because I know that a lot of my supporters will go up to them, message them, and say their stuff. And sometimes when I read a lot of the things that my supporters say, they're nice and long, nicely spaced. They're not insulting, they're not calling anyone gay, they're not calling anyone fat, they're not insulting anyone, and they give this long explanation and it's just flawless. And I'm just like, wow, a lot of the people that support me are fucking smart and they're really intelligent. And sure, they may be depressed, a lot of them, but they fucking know how to appreciate and how to be human and how to empathize with people. So those comments, they don't get to me, but it makes me question, like, what is it like in an ignorant person's head, you know? And I'm trying to be as nice to that with that as possible, but you know, I got this comment from this guy being like, oh, you self-harm, that means you're a pedophile, and you self-harm, that means you're a pedophile, and talking to me about God and stuff and Christianity and how I'm a pedophile to them. And it was actually really stupid, but you know, maybe he believed it and whatever. But don't go on my channel to attack me, you know? That's just all I'm thinking, you know, believe what you want, but you shouldn't attack someone and be like, hey, you're going to hell, blah, 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 because, first of all, it doesn't hit me because I don't believe in that, and second of all, it's just, what makes you the better person? Just, what makes you better than me when you think about it? So, thinking of that, I know I missed out a point talking about this, but I should probably wrap this up because I'm running out of battery, but still, what else? Let me think. Oh yeah, well anyways, yeah, I am privileged, yes. I have neurotic depression, I have anxiety, you know, I have had moments where, you know, I was suicidal, I've been very suicidal growing up, so I've had everything. But you know what? I've had moments where I've had nothing. I've had moments where I was, you know, on the streets living with my mom and my sister, living in garages, living in cars, you know, living in other people's houses. We didn't have a house. Sometimes the electricity, when we did, the electricity wouldn't work. We had moldy bread to eat. So don't tell me what I haven't been through. Don't tell me what I haven't been through. Yeah, basically. You know, don't judge someone else's life. And you will never fully know someone's, don't even judge them at all. Alright, I should do something badass and be like, fuck the haters. Okay, bye guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope it wasn't so depressing, you know, I try to steer away from that, but